welcome everyone to the third section on student engagement and active learning. We have Professor Laura Andel presenting using smart phone video capability as a self-reflection tool for learning. Please welcome Professor Laura.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Professor Andel. I'm adjunct assistant professor at Hostos Community College. And I'm going to talk about using the smartphone video capabilities as a self-reflection tool in this presentation. So let me give you a little bit of background of what I teach here at Hostos. I teach the fundamentals of music theory at the keyboard. And in this class, students learn music theory and piano skills. So it's a pretty difficult balance because in this class I have 18 students at the piano. They use headphones, by the way, otherwise it would be pretty crazy. And for this class, there's no previous musical training required, so they start from zero, complete zero. And this one is an elective course. So you get all kind of students in here, but I would say 90% they just come to the course with pretty much no idea what they are coming into, especially about the music theory. They probably think, I want to play a little bit of piano. And 10% of the students, they're digital major students. So those are the ones that really want to get into the theory and the music. So now, how did I come up with video recording assignments for learning? My first semester here, I didn't know really how it went with this doing the students learning the piano. I knew pretty much how to do the theory, but the piano, I realized that when I was doing quizzes or midterm exam, to have 18 students one by one to check how they play, plus they get nervous, I need to see how they do it. I didn't have enough time to really go in detail with each one of them. So in the second semester, I said, well, how about they have their smartphones all the time with them, and the smartphone have a video capability. So I thought, well, how about they record themselves and then they upload this assignment. So they can practice the assignment as many times as they need at home, anytime. They can see what they do, they can improve, and then they send me the clean tape. I can add feedback. By the way, they upload it to Blackboard, and so it's a fairly easy way, and you get a lot of more time to practice and to give them feedback from what they do. So I just want to highlight 3 aspects of learning that I think it matches with this video assignments. The first aspect I want to highlight is that to develop mastery, students must acquire component skills, practice integrating them, and know when to apply what they have learned. The second one I want to mention is that to become self-directed learners, students must learn to assess the demands of the task, evaluate their own knowledge and skills, plan their approach, monitor their progress, and adjust their strategies as needed. And finally, the last one aspect is goal-directed practice coupled with targeted feedback enhances the quality of students' learning. So here I want to show one example of a student that submitted her video assignment. Let me play just a few seconds of that. Let me see to play. I need to go here to click the play button. Let's see.
My name is Tehillah, and I will be playing Musette.
So big bravo for Tehillah. So to get to this point, you know, this one is a 30-second video, I guess. She put a lot of practice in this to do this. You know, here it sounds perfect, right? But she recorded herself a million times. She checked her hands. She presented herself until she really got this take. Of course, first take, one measure, and oh, I should start again. I made a mistake. Another time. And that makes them practice a lot. And finally, you know, they see what they do and they are happy with it. But another thing I want to mention is that for this assignments, I give them a self-assessment rubric so they can see what they need to do that has to do with the goal, the targeted assignment, and I can also grade them based on this. So some of the criteria is that I check even the position of the body, if they play with relaxed hands. You know, the first, I do 10 videos throughout the semester. The first one, you see the hands like this, or they don't present themselves, or the angle of the presentation is not really good. The other one is I check the notes that they play, the fingering, because you need to have specific fingering. Then the rhythm, if it plays accurate rhythms and keeps a good tempo. And finally, well, here is covered, but I also evaluate the presentation. If the hands are clearly visible, how they introduce themselves, and if they introduce also the title of the piece. That's really important because that avoids that being anonymous, you know, and also, you know, they think that, oh, that's me, but who are you? You know, I really need to get to know them, and also they get to know each other, but while looking at their videos and checking the name, last name, and title of the piece. Now, the other important thing that I do, I don't only ask them to do repertoire pieces by Johann Sebastian Bach or some popular music. I also ask them, some of the assignments, they compose their own music. These are total beginners, by the way. And I take this challenge, and the response is like really impressive because you really get to know the students and how they feel. Just by looking at their titles, you can see, oh, that place. Let me show you a few seconds.
The original composition code changes.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up there. That was her last composition, by the way. So you can see how more fluid she was in her music. Now, here are some of the composition titles. One is Eternal, the Path. You can get a lot from the student, and it really is always like thinking everything. Like I give him a piece of paper, and he's like that, and you can tell that by the title as well. Then another one, Escape from a Nightmare. That's really interesting. He always says, I like very dark music, and well, you can see what he's doing there. Another student, I messed up. Sorry, I didn't want to go that far. Another student, I messed up. That was his last composition. He really messed up in the score. So he acknowledged this, and he said, you know, that was really bad what I did, but finally he created, that was self-reflection, honestly, right? And then the other one, that's the last composition. It's a combination of a first composition and a second. I was confused that was the first composition. Now I'm found. That's another very nice one. And life goes on and on. That was about a student that lost a friend, and that was about a funeral and afterlife. After what happens with life after that. So this, you really get to know, get an impression of these students, and you get to know them better. Now, you can also have this collection of videos. By the end of the semester, there are more than 250 videos per course from all the students, and I make a video library channel where all students can access and see what other students are doing. And by the way, I make assignments where they have to give feedback among themselves. So they see how the library, how the body of work from the student community of this course, they are growing and growing and growing, and they are part of it. Everyone is part of this. Now, you wonder how helpful. I asked this to the students at the end of the semester. It was helpful to see yourself playing the piano on a video. All of them said yes. Very helpful or somehow helpful. And then the other one, how helpful was to see your classmates playing a video. And it was also, all of them, they said it was helpful because they really learn from each other. And they don't feel so lonely in their progress, in their search to learn this instrument, which is something totally foreign for them. At the end, it's not anymore. Now, what are the benefits for students? Let's go back, let's recap from the beginning how learning works. So to develop masters, students must acquire component skills. So here, and integrating all these practices and apply them. So in music, you have to learn how to read music, how to write music, how to put all what you see and know how to play it on the piano and move your fingers and connect what you read. You know, it's like a really difficult process, and you integrate a lot of practices. So the video assignments, it really puts in perspective how much they do. Now, for the second one, with the rubrics, well, actually, with the videos themselves, all the time they video record, each time they evaluate their own knowledge and skills. First day, oh, I should really improve. Second day, oh, that's better. And then the last week, this one is great. Then they can monitor their progress throughout the semester because they have 10 videos and they see, wow, they won. Now, I'm doing my own compositions. There's a final concert and they can see what they do and they can see their final product of what they do. And finally, the other learning aspect is that there's a goal-directed practice with targeted feedback. The rubrics help have this goal, and also I can give them very detailed feedback because when I used to do it live, of course I miss a finger, I have to give really fast feedback and nothing is written. So now everything is written, they can go back, they can check. So I find that very helpful, and it allows to do more assignments for the class, and they can learn more. Now, for the instructor, what are the benefits? These are helpful also for us to keep track of students' progress while they learn practical skills. And then the rubrics facilitate evaluating student practical skills and give accurate feedback. I already said this. And then this helps us get to know students better through their video assignments. I honestly, each time I see a student, instead of saying their name, I sing their song. So for me, each student is music, right? So that's really interesting. I remember them by their titles, by their sound. And they also, it's really interesting how each person is developing their own sound. And some are like very melodic, romantic, and others are more like the nightmare person, very dark, and another one is super rhythmic and happy and partying all the time. So you really get to know them. Now, conclusions. Using smartphone video capabilities as a self-reflection tool presents benefits to both student and instructor. And finally, I want to thank Tehillah Smith. Yeah, she was really a great student, and she allowed me to present these two videos. I also wanted to show that I have in my phone all the videos, a video library of, by now it's more than 1,000 videos of all the students. Yes, with all the courses that I'm doing. And this using Panopto, which is a tool that is integrated with Blackboard. So I created a video library with Panopto. Panopto is usually used as a lecture capture, but I decided to use it as a centralized place to put all the videos. And finally, I want to thank Carlos Guevara. He's not here, but he's the director of the CTL here. And Iber, and he's still here. Thank you. Wilfredo Rodriguez and Aaron Davis. He's not here anymore, but he was helping me setting up the first time in my first semester of this assignment. So, any questions? Yes, well, first semester they were sending me through, we transferred, it was crazy. Second semester, I kept investigating and I set up video assignments. When you go to test, video assignments. So it's the same as any video assignment, like writing assignment, or if you use Blackboard. And then I attach a rubric, the rubric that I showed. So they upload that video and
to Blackboard.
Directly on Blackboard.
But through Canopy.
No, not through Canopy. It's just an assignment. It's through Canopy. Okay, they click attach or upload the assignment. They upload that video assignment. Submit. Then I open to grade everything. I have the video next to me and the rubric. It's very fast actually. For the very easy. Yes.
What device was Tehillah using when she was filming the keyboard? Was her phone situated?
Her phone, yes, I wanted to say that. That's
Was
why
she leaning on the piano?
Yes, leaning on the piano on the side like this. Some students, it's very nice because they ask another student, can you record me? And so they start to get this bonding. Oh, do it again, you know, like that's not good. And they laugh because, of course, you make a mistake and say, oh, no, start again, you know. So it's really like playing with this. It's really fun and stressful as well. Yes.
One thing that amazed me was the fact that you mentioned this is a class, music 01?
Yes, 101.
Where there is no requirement, there's no previous knowledge of music, which I don't have. And being at hostess, I feel like I'm going to be one of your next.
Oh, that's so
And I really would like to learn because people have told me all the time that I have fingers that from one up.
Those are great hands, great fingers. You can play really like
They have always
extended
told me,
positions.
so I'll be your student.
What's your name?
Oh, Juan Soto. Nice to meet you.
New student. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, I want to say something. If this doesn't apply to music, you can do it for anything. For writing assignments, the students, it's so easy. I mean, it's really important to read your own assignment to see if it flows. For example, you can read a paragraph and you can upload it. If you are into public speaking, that would be like really amazing because you can see how you talk and see if it really comes through your idea. You can do it for math, right? Like you can do a whole process for how you get to an assignment, right? How you got that solution. You can do any kind of tutorial. You can ask a student, make a tutorial for others on how to do something, how to do a task. Yes?
All right, all together, let's thank Professor Laura Andel.